Yo, what's good? NBA YouTube. It's your man 100 Grand Ross with The Rock Never Stops. And today I want to get into a recap of this Toronto Raptors versus Minnesota Timberwolves game. There's a whole lot we can take from it. So if you like this video, please smash that like button for me. Hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. And we can also continue the conversation on Twitter at The Rock Never Stops 22. Yo, I want to start with a question that I had from the last Toronto Raptors game when Jonas Valanciunas of the New Orleans Pelicans really just imposed his will on the Toronto Raptors. And the Pels got probably one of the best wins of this calendar year against the Toronto Raptors. And I asked, did the Toronto Raptors make a mistake by not pursuing a big man at the trade deadline to make sure that they could defend some of these elite centers? And after this game, I think I came away with no, they did not make a mistake. Let's be clear, Karl Anthony Towns is an elite NBA big man. But I've said this many times before, Karl Anthony Towns is elite in the same way that a Kyrie Irving is elite. He's an elite offensive force. He is an incredible basketball player, a tremendous talent, somebody that you really can't contain or do anything with. You just kind of have to ride the wave, and when they get hot, they can ride you into a victory or put you over the top. But they're not leaders and they're not winners. And this is the difference when we see a winning team go up against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Toronto Raptors did what they were supposed to do. They bounced back from their loss. They came out ready to go. They established their offense. Pascal Siakam got going. Gary Trent Jr. got going. Despite being without Fred VanVleet, they understood what their system was, what they wanted to accomplish, and they went out and they executed. And there really wasn't much that the Minnesota Timberwolves could do about it. The formidable defense that the Toronto Raptors have presented to the NBA since getting healthy, meaning Pascal Siakam gets his shoulder back and he's back in a rhythm, he gets his legs under him. Gary Trent Jr. has a string of 30-point games and is looking like a tremendous offensive talent. And now you see that this defense, when they get rolling, can shut down most teams. And when I say shut down, you're going to have that one guy who's an extreme talent like Karl Anthony Towns. He's going to get his. But everyone else, they're going to have a hell of a night. They're going to have to worry about long, lengthy, high basketball IQ defenders in their face all day, challenging every shot, rotating correctly each time, communicating well on defense, hedging, hands straight up, not committing dumb fouls. You're just going to have a hard night when you have to see 6'9", 6'9", 6'7", 6'10", 6'6", tough, hard-nosed, long, athletic defenders all the way through. And as much as Karl Anthony Towns did his thing, it was not enough. In the end, you saw guys like OG Anunoby, when it came down to it, he wasn't able to shut down Towns, but his ability to be physically strong enough to not simply get back down, but also mobile enough to be able to stay underneath him and make the shot tough, allowed for a help defender, Chris Boucher, to rotate correctly and block a shot that was needed the most. They were able to completely disrupt the game over D'Angelo Russell, who we already know can't really get to the rim to be able to get his shot off and get easy buckets. And so all we had to do was just stay in front of him. And when he pulls up like we know he wants to, we have all the length and the size and the athleticism to force him into tough shots. And they did that play after play after play. After a while, I started even asking myself, is D'Angelo Russell holding this team back? Now, side note, thought that came to mind was the D'Angelo Russell for Russell Westbrook trade, but we're going to talk about that later. But let's talk about Gary Trent Jr. Gary Trent Jr. was the man in his game. He scored at the rate that we've been accustomed to seeing him in this new year in 2022 as an elite shooter, shot maker, shot creator. And when I say elite, I'm saying elite in like the Klay Thompson elite, not the Bradley Beal. He's not going to cross you over. He's not this athletic freak that can jump around you. But he knows his game, and it's so well tuned and refined that he's able to essentially get his shot off when he needs to, whenever he needs to. Because you have to defend him so deep behind that three-point line and he's moving without the ball, when he gets the ball, you have to close out so hard, creating opportunities for him to pump fake you, take a dribble or two to the basket, and get off a clean-looking shot. But something that also has to really be acknowledged is how well Thaddeus Young fit into this team. Oh my goodness. I mean, of all the role players for Minnesota that was playing well, I mean, your Jared Vanderbilts and your Jaden McDaniels, these guys, Patrick Beverly, came in and they played some really good minutes around Karl Anthony Towns. Thaddeus Young is probably better than all of them. And you see guys like him, they don't want to just go to any team at this stage in their career. Thaddeus Young is in his 30s, a little bit past his prime, but he's still extremely useful. But he knows he wants to be in a situation within a system that's established a culture that understands what it is and what it's not, and he knows how he's going to fit it. In San Antonio, he knew his role even though he wasn't playing. He was able to get his body healthy, he could rest, be a good locker room guy, and when the time came, he was going to get bought out or have an opportunity to be traded for. And Masai Ujiri did exactly that. You can see clearly that Masai understands what he's building in Toronto. This team is going to have length, size, athleticism, and a high skill set. Great character, high basketball IQ, bought into team first. And they're going to be a problem because they're constantly opposing a mismatch in some way or fashion. And they're smart enough to be patient enough to find it and exploit it. How many times did Thaddeus Young cut without the ball, right down the seams? And despite getting it blocked once, his ability to do that constantly occupies help defenders and creates openings for guys like Siakam and Gary Trent Jr. Now, despite the charge calls, Pascal, he has a tendency to force a little bit because he's so agile and quick. He always thinks that he can kind of get around or get through any situation. And I'm not mad at it. He's an all NBA level player. But what we see here is the difference between a team that's winning and knows how to win and a team that's still trying to figure it out. The Minnesota Timberwolves still are trying to figure it out. I love Anthony Edwards, but I don't know if D'Angelo Russell fits. I don't know if he's the leader, the winner that this team needs. I really don't. Matter of fact, they might just need somebody like Tyus Jones to come in there and be able to run the show, shoot a high percentage, play great defense, and set the table for guys like Anthony Edwards. But I don't know. At the end of the day, there's a big gap between a play-in team in the West and a team that's trying to contend in the East. Let me know what y'all think. Is Toronto contending? Let me know on Twitter. I'll see you there. Peace.